Right, so the first question really for all of the panel, and we're not going to be sticking rigidly to any times or anything like that today. I want to come to Dr. Reem first and ask, why do you think that there is a rise in the number of groups aimed at women now, not just in our industry, but just women's groups generally, and with specific reference to your experience, Dr. Reem? What do you think?
Thank you so much, Deborah, for this wonderful and very important question. As we have chatted before, and I believe the rise in having women groups being created and formalized is that the women themselves has realized the benefit of being gathered under a one forum where they can support each other, where they can guide each other, where they can even celebrate their achievements. And I have witnessed that from personally. I believe that they always say that great leaders give instructions. However, the best managers lead. However, the best leaders tell stories, and the best stories are the personal one. So if I will share a personal aspect of why would women, the increase in number of groups in women is because even within our Women in Cybersecurity Middle East group, we have seen the wonderful impacts that such gathering and under one forum really provides. I have heard a wonderful statement when I attended the Executive Women Forum back in the US that is headed by Joyce. One of the members, she said, "We are the tribe. We are here as one tribe where we support each other, where we celebrate each other." And I love that supportive sense of gathering, support sense of sisterhood along that. And this is what I have sensed that even in our Women Middle East group, we celebrate achievements. Everyone that does an achievement, every one of us that have a prize, and she shared that news in our groups, you would see them, everyone is cheering out as if herself was the one who had this achievement. And the others who were let's say from our culture a little bit shy from going towards announcing or promoting, she started to be more motivated towards achieving such rewards and then come and promote it to us, and we cheer with her very high in the sky. So I have sensed that, and everyone rise, we all rise with her, and we keep telling that when she rises, we all rise together. So this sense of a safe environment, this sense of security, this sense of having your sister having your back, cheering for you, pushing you towards the challenges, and mentor you through the mentorship programs, and all this support has really reflected not only in talks, in actions, the importance and the benefits of such women groups. And for that, more and more women groups has been formulated to address different fields. It's not only cybersecurity, different fields where the support is always appreciated, and the mental and the psychological security is being retained and sensed through these groups.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reem. That's wonderful to hear that language of guidance and celebration and support and motivation. That's fantastic, and it's really excellent to hear that that's having an impact in the Middle East and in your group that you're having access to, which is excellent. Same question to Danyetta, really, and in the US, what's your feeling about the rise of the number of groups aimed at women? How is it in the States?
I think it's a similar feeling in the States, that a lot of women are now viewing security in general as an opportunity for them. And one of the things I wanted to highlight is just looking at the global population overall. We're talking about nearly half of the global population are women, about 49.6% of the population are women. However, when you look at the statistics inside of the security industry, you're averaging about 20%. So that alone just kind of lets you know that there's voices that aren't being heard. And I believe these groups, as what we're finding, is that they're allowing women to kind of come together and, as Dr. Reem said, create that sisterhood, find a place for mentoring, find a place for figuring out how to hone your voice and how to be able to share that voice in a lot broader perspective. So the groups that I've been involved with, you know, one of the big things I think I like the most about it is the mentoring, because it's one thing to say you get the knowledge to go into cybersecurity and get the skills to go into security, but the biggest thing I find is the mentoring aspect, and being able to have women of all ages, and especially our young women, come in and to talk to leaders, as you see on this call, and other women who have been down this path, to find out, you know, how do I have my voice? How do I bring these different perspectives to the forefront in organizations that often, that actually majority of them don't look like them, don't have very traditional patrilineal and male-dominated views about security. And so they're looking for, you know, how do I express myself? How do I bring what we need to do and to incorporate that into the more global way that we go about talking about security in general. So, you know, here in the States, I think there's a huge opportunity, and I think you're seeing more and more women groups popping up, because we're looking for that sisterhood and looking to create that voice that's not here right now.
Thank you so much, Danyetta. That's fascinating. I think you've partially answered one of the questions that's coming in about encouraging women into male-dominated industry sectors. So these women's groups clearly in the States are aiming to do that and are encouraging that to happen. And let's hope that statistic changes over time. Thank you so much, Danyetta. So same question to you, Louisa. Women's groups in the industry, why do you think there is a number of rise, and what's different in your experience and in your sector and country?
Yeah, well, I think, at least as far as security goes, there's more women's groups now because there's finally enough of us to make it happen. I mean, I guess comparatively, I haven't been around that long, but when I first started being around security 15 years ago, I was just very used to being the only woman in the room. And not only was I the only woman in the room, I was much younger. And I didn't have a police or military background. And that's really different now. You know, it's now, I mean, not all the time, but now there are women heads of security that I come across, and it's fantastic. And like the previous panelists have said, I think that self-advocacy, I mean, it works. And the groups that traditionally have free run of the spaces they're not often aware that we're being held back. So we have to take this ourselves, these opportunities. Thank you, Louisa. Absolutely, you're getting agreement from ladies on the chat panel there, so that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Sutapa, and from your perspective and in your region, what's your thoughts on this question?
Well, I feel there are certain organic reasons, like the panelists before me, they've stated. There are more women in this industry and other organizations also. And also that women are actually finding their feet, right? So they are creating these groups and joining these groups. But apart from that, there are also reasons. And the simple reason is that women matter. And women are needed in this industry as well. You know, for years, this potential of women was kind of overlooked, and the perception was different, that women couldn't do well in this security industry. But their contributions are being acknowledged now in different industries as well as the security industry. And the second big reason is that in, I think, across the world, women form around 50% of the population. So that this demographic is being reflected in the security industry also, which is a very good thing. It should reflect. The third thing is the changing nature of the risks and risk management, the vulnerabilities, and the security, entire concept of security itself. You know, enterprise security solutions are a growing field now, and they cover personnel security, they cover asset security, intellectual property, cyber security, and things like fraud detection, investigation, terror funding, online radicalization, what have you, the admin side, even the ancillary industries related to the manufacture of security equipment. So, it's gone beyond, it's evolved beyond what we used to think originally of security as that comprising of just guards and bouncers, So it has gone beyond that. And then women, there's a need, because I personally feel, my sense is that the women are doing a great job because of certain capabilities which they have. They're bringing in a fresh perspective to the entire industries with their, kind of management skills, their out-of-the-box thinking skills, their networking skills, their intuitive intelligence and risk aversion. That is something which women have, and their multitasking abilities. So these are kind of bringing in more women into the industry, and therefore they are also forming more number of groups. They're adding value to the industry. Linked with this is, I find that there is a recognition of women in the security industry in various subgroups, like policing for law and order, paramilitary forces. You have the international peacekeeping forces. Women have done a great job out there. It has been acknowledged across the world. And then you have all the 3 wings of defense now having women. And of course, you have the private security industry. And, my personal experience tells me that more and more women are actually needed in this industry. Like in India, the recruitment of women in the police forces went up because of 2 major reasons. Because they needed more women to confront women agitators. Agitations led by women needed women from the law and order side also. And secondly, there is a feeling, that women open up, women victims open up more to women police personnel. So there was that big need. And so more and more women came in, and since they came in, there were more groups which were targeting them. They themselves were forming those groups. And finally, last but not the least, there is a recognition across industries, across professions, that gender equality at the workplace can, unleash, and there are reports, so the McKinsey report says that they can unleash about $28 trillion worth of global GDP. Why hold back that segment which can generate this GDP? So that is another reason which is bringing in, drawing in, it's a push and a pull factor together, to the security industry. And you have so many groups. So, it's a win-win situation for all.
That's really important to understand, I think, just to acknowledge, is it's not just that there are more women, but I think there is a genuine need and effort to reflect the societies and the cultures that we're working in, and the growth of security as an industry itself. So it seems it's sort of a natural evolution, but I know we're all aware today that it's not just about gender equality, but that's the topic of our discussion today. And I think that's important to just realize that reflection, and exactly what you're saying, Sutapa, is it's not just reflecting the change in the sector, but reflecting the people that we're serving. And you're talking about, service in terms of policing, and especially that is that you need to reflect the society that you're policing.
Yeah, it's a pull and push factor. Both are together, I guess.
Absolutely. Does anybody want to come in and pick up on anybody else's points on that question about the women's groups? Is there anything that we've kind of left unsaid here about the rise of women's groups, or can we move on? Your chance now to say. Dr. Reem has her hand up. Yes.
Yes, I would like also to add to Supta's point when she said that a woman would very much be open to other women and feel more safe and secure towards that. I highly actually encourage that, and we need to clarify even the main purpose or the main objective of all of these women panel sessions and all of that. It's not like we are trying to invade or having the men as our opponents, or women versus women, women versus men. Actually, what we're trying to say here, that we are here to complement men. A woman has been always playing her role in, even naturally, in complementing men, and men has already played a very natural role in complementing us. Again, a personal story that I can share here. Men has played a great role in making me who I am today. My father was a great role model for me as a leader, and a role model when it comes to career. My husband has been and my brothers has been great advocates, and supporting me to pursue my passion towards cybersecurity, toward giving above and beyond. And without this support and whole ecosystem, I wouldn't be able to do it. When I did my Harvard school and I went away from my home with knowing that I have a family, my even elder sons has helped their father in taking care of the family, which are 2 boys. So again, I have great mentors through my career, and mostly they were also males. So what I'm trying to say here is males and men are always playing a great role in complementing us, and we're here also to complementing them. And it's not just about that we have increased. There's a need for us to play those roles where we will be more impactful. The diversity, according to many studies, Harvard Business Studies and all of that, has shown that such diversity will always enrich the outcomes of operations, the outcomes of creativity and innovation, of having the diversity of mindsets, the cultures, and all of that. So I'm just trying to align all of us here, that we're here to complement each other, and we are balancing the whole equation of having men supporting us, and we're doing the vice versa. And when we talk about women groups, it's about having that safe environment where we can open to each other, where we can share our, let's say, challenges. And of course, you always chat to your girlfriends in a more openly into issues, rather than having it with the other gender. So this safe environment, which comes by natural, gives such encouragement and support, where it's very much needed in a psychological as well as physical levels. So I'm just trying to state that, and making clear that we're not here to invade the world and take control. We're here just to support and help.
A lot of nodding and on the chat as well, and I can see Danyetta's nodding as well. So you agree with this, Danyetta? We're not. I think that's really important for women's groups to not be, bashing the opposite genders and saying, we're all of a sudden more important. It is more about that equality and that recognition of the qualities that we bring to each other in the workplace and in the home. And you've got a clear view on this. You were telling me this week.
I was, and I wanted to share my experience as well. I mean, it's not about us versus them. It's how we come together to be able to share and make the entire process of security better. And so for me in particular, my introduction into cybersecurity was through 2 men that were great mentors to me. And they came in and said, "Oh, you want to come into this? Let's sit down and have a talk about, what this means." They sat down and helped me in meetings when I was saying things that didn't make any sense. They would say, "Hey, this is how we this is the terminology. This is what this means." And they were very strong mentors to me. And I think that that's a very important and key point that Dr. Reem has said, as well as Sutapa, that what we're looking to do when we talk about the women's group is really bring a balance. We really just want to bring that balance. We want, as women, for our voices to be heard, to be understood, to be recognized, and to also allow not just to be heard, understood, and recognized, but to allow that information to help make our society more secure. And I have another quick story. I want to take over with the story.
Please. No, we want to hear it.
You know, one of the things that we do need to talk about here on this call is one of the greatest advocates I had as being a woman in security actually was a male boss of mine. When I first came in, I came in very young, as Louisa was saying, and so I had a lot of male colleagues who said things and made references to, you know, my physical appearance, may ignore me in a meeting, do things that were definitely biased toward me as an individual, and especially as an African-American woman. And I had a male boss who stepped in and said, you know, we've hired her to come in and to provide cybersecurity support. And I am lending my position as a male and as a leader to the others in the organization to say, this is how I'm expecting her to be treated. So I think there's multiple facets to this, where we're not just talking about having our voice heard, but also allowing the other men in the environment to understand you're a part of this with us. It's a journey that we're taking together. It's not just us saying, okay, we want to make sure we're heard. It's also you coming in and helping not just mentor, but also helping others who may not necessarily understand that they have those biases, or that they're treating you less than as a colleague, as a professional colleague and individual in that moment. And you're allowing them to say, hey, wait a minute, let's readjust here. Let's think about how I'm showing up and what am I doing in this environment to make this safe for women to come and speak and to have their voices heard. So I do want to also bring that point up. I think it's not just, you know, advocating in terms of listening, but also advocating, making sure that we have environments that allow us to be our best.